Go for it.
Very good. Okay, while Dennis finishes that up, I will introduce this week's program speaker. The first of our name, I don't have to say his whole name. Sandy.
That's fine.
Okay, well, we have Sandy, and he's from the Beaverton Club, and he'll present an overview of the journey of his last 15 years as it relates to
Guys.
correcting pediatric uncorrected refractive error, URE, in India, and what his plans are in the years ahead. Over the last 15 years, Sandy has raised over $575,000. He's helped screen over 600,000 children. He supported tens of thousands of surgeries and supplied tens of thousands of eyeglasses. He would love to have the synergistic partnership with the Beaverton Club and to work together as a team to address this silent epidemic. The World Health Organization estimates that over half of the world's population will be myopic by 2050. I've already got a head start on that. Today, over 950 million people on the planet cannot afford a simple pair of eyeglasses. And 239 million children cannot read what is written on the blackboard. The rural problem is 3 times bigger than the urban problem. Kids with URE lag behind 3 times more than those who can read. And girls are 3 times more disadvantaged than boys. So this is also a gender inequality issue. Sandy has done deep analysis and will present how we as a team can collectively solve this URE problem. Being able to see the blackboard leads to better education. Better education leads to kids becoming productive citizens. So this resonates with me because when I was in 3rd grade, they finally figured out that I couldn't read the blackboard. So I've had classes ever since. Sandy, please come up. Thank you.
You need your tablet back. So first of all, thank you very much for joining or allowing me to speak in front of you. And again, I'm going to be pretty bold and straightforward. I'm here and across multiple clubs so that I can present my case. And hopefully, it takes many drops to fill a bucket. So I'm here to find out how many drops can you drop into the major bucket. Let me give you a little bit of background. So year was 1969. And I was 12 years old. And a middle-class family in a place called Pune in India. And some of you know, most of you should know Pune. If not, and I'm not going to attach myself to that name, but Bhagwan Rajneesh, if you remember, Eastern Oregon. His commune was in Pune, but I'm not connected with. So anyway, I was 12 years old, and my mother woke up, looked outside the window, and found out that she couldn't see anything. And she had a retinal detachment in both of her eyes.
Just so you know, we don't have our sound system today. I just don't hear so well, so project.
Speak louder.
Thank you, please.
Yeah. Also, no, honestly, if you want to come in the front too, but I'll speak louder. So this was 1969, and my Pune was a 3.5 million people kind of a city. But think about 1969 and the level of technology and medical technology. And bottom line is, she couldn't get the help that she needed in due time. Normally, when you have retinal detachment, you're supposed to get help in 48 to 72 hours. As a result, she was blind for 30 years. And those people who do not think about blindness, all I would suggest to you is take a handkerchief, put on your eyes, and just spend half an hour going around your own house where where the tables are, chairs are, everything else. And it should suffice to tell you how important it is to have eyes, because 84% of our knowledge comes through eyes. And not only that, how important it is that we take things like 2 eyes for granted, and we don't even pay attention to our sensory organs. Whether it is hearing, whether it's touch, whether it's eyes. I think all this is, I'm trying to tell you, is not to bring a gloomy picture in front of you. These are the realities of people that blind people see all around. So I decided that what my mother had to go through, no other person should be going through this in life. Now, I could look at a 60-year-old, or I can look at a 5-year or 6-year-old. It is my thinking that children should be attended first because they have 50, 60, 70 years ahead of them. I'm not against old people. I'm going to be 70 in March. But given a choice, I would rather help a child who has 60, 70 years ahead of them. So I decided that I was going to do something about it. Well, as life takes its course, I came to the United States to do my master's here, postgraduate work. And normally after that, you get married, you have children, and then you're hauling them for piano lessons, this, that, whatever. And it wasn't that I didn't want to do anything about it. It was that, then you're raising a family. So came 2010. I was on business trip via Intel. I was in Beijing. I checked into the hotel. I looked outside the window, and from my left eye, I couldn't see the bottom half. So I knew exactly what it was. So I got with American Express. I said, when is the next flight? I reached there at night, 10 o'clock. I was on flight back to Portland, 6 a.m. I got on the plane. My wife picked me up at the airport. I went to KCI Institute at OHSC. They operated on me, and I am 98% back to normal. So I was thinking, I work at Intel. I have a good job. I'm in good financial position. I have insurance. I have the support system, and I was able to get my vision back. And those who have gone through this kind of trauma can imagine when I was sleeping. I won't go into the detail, but you have to sleep on one side for about 2 weeks because the vitreous humor, which is the liquid that's inside your eye, you have to basically take it out to do a surgery, and fill it that with some hydro HCN, some gas, until your body creates that liquid of its own. And until it fills, you have to sleep on one side for 2 weeks on one side. But while sleeping on one side, I was thinking how lucky I am to be living in the United States, having a good job, having insurance, and having a support family. And that led me to a question about what about those who don't have any means? Whether it's in Asia, whether it is Eastern Oregon, whether it is southern states like Alabama, think about all other places where people either are completely unaware, and even if they are aware, what do? They just don't have means. They may not have government support. They may not have support system. So this went on and on for quite a while. I was brewing in my head. So 2010, I started thinking, hey, this is my call from the Almighty saying, you have been sitting on your behind for such a long time. Get moving. You have been saying, I want to do something about it. Do something about it. So I said, well, how am I going to start helping? Well, I'm a Bollywood singer. So I said, well, I have that faculty. I can use that to put into practice. So I started doing programs in Beaverton. First year, we raised about $6,700. Next year, it was $12,000. Then it was $19,000. And we went all the way. The biggest amount was probably $73,000 in one night. And what I started doing that, all my singers were volunteers. All that money we collected went to eight different hospitals in 6 different states in India. And I did that for 15 years. The reason why I'm telling you this story is because what I'm asking is as important as the journey it took me to go there. That's why it's very important to understand what are my motivations, why I'm so passionate about doing the work that I'm doing. At the same time, I started thinking, how can my money, my funds that I'm raising can be put to maximum use? So I'm an engineer and I'm a scientist and I'm an innovator. So I started thinking like an innovator. I started thinking, given $100, where is the biggest bang for the buck? The people who have worked for Intel probably know there is a technique called Pareto chart. You basically say, what is the most important, then the next important, the next important. The first one that came on the Pareto chart was uncorrected refractive error. Other complicated problems that are related to eye, two things happen. Normally, those complicated problems happen when you are really old. So the onset is much later. Plus, to do an operation requires real expertise to do operation, and it costs high. While I started looking at glasses, they're comparatively cheaper, and I will be able to affect tens of thousands of children than taking care of one surgery somewhere, right? So I started thinking, well, my vision was kind of 360. Then I started thinking, where am I going to focus? I focus on children. Then I started focusing on the next thing that came is, should I focus on rural area versus urban area? I think the statistics he talked about, the rural area is 3 times more neglected than urban areas. Okay, then I said, it's not that I'm going to not focus on urban area, but I'm going to focus more on rural area. Then I started thinking, what happens to these children who cannot get their glasses? And I'll tell you, there are some horrible stories. I'm going to give you a quick example. Why being able to see is so important. Think about when a child is born, right? A woman holds that child next to her breast. That child is smelling the chemical signal of the breast, right? Data point number 1. The mother is caressing the child. So there is a touch input going on into the child's brain. The mother might be singing a lullaby. So there's an audio input going in your head. And then the child is seeing her mother's or his mother's face. That's the 4th input. What we call vision and seeing is a combination, it's a multimodal collection of all these inputs that I talked about. It's not just a camera with a lens here where photons go in, they get impinged on the retina, and somehow it goes back into the brain. It is touch, it is the touch, is the audio, it's seeing, it's smell, all of that combined. And if you don't, let's say a child is born with a cataract, but a lot of people don't know, children are born with cataract. If you don't take the cataract out in the first X number of months or years, and then you take your cataract out, they can't see. Because they have no context. From birth, think about how brain is developed, right? I know, here is a man, here is a woman, there is a door, here is a window. It's a contextual scene. I'm not scanning pixel by pixel to say, oh my God, that's a door, right? So if I don't have that context, what a door looks like, what a tree looks like, then what that child whose cataract is removed is a bunch of pixels. Can you imagine a Nikon camera that has everything else but no software inside? It's just a bunch of pixels. Now these kids can be corrected, but think about what naturally happens after birth. You have to teach now how for them to see. It's just with languages. When children are born, they can learn 5 languages, and you become 20 years old, and learning language is complication. So, sorry, I haven't showed you the slides, but I wanted to create the context so you understand where I'm coming from, why I'm focused on what I'm doing. So I started an NGO. Its name is Kamala Drishti. Kamala is my mother's name. You're probably familiar with Kamala name since the last election. So at least you know the first part. Drishti is something, if you have been doing yoga, you probably know. Drishti just means vision or eyes, right? So that's named after my mother. So that's kind of the context. Just to give you a quick, by the way, stop me anytime. It's not.
Sammy, how old was your mom when this happened?
She was 42.
And how old were you?
I was 12.
No, when you experienced, when you were.
2010, so 2010 minus 57, 1957, whatever.
Is it genetics?
I found out it was genetic because I
Okay.
started talking to aunts and aunties and uncles and whoever. But yeah.
Okay.
So this already I wanted to, what are the next slide is that I'm not trying to, do rah-rah on my chest. It is just what the fact is. Okay. So this figure has now reached about $575,000. I've been able to screen through the effort about 600,000 children, about 43,000 children provided with corrective glasses, over 13,000 corrective surgeries, and some equipment that we have been able to donate. Now, what I'm doing through Rotary is to see how I can multiply that effort, because I have been doing this sort of last 15 years of my own. So I just wanted to give a quick feel. Sorry. This is the world figure. Can you imagine half of the world's population is going to be myopic by 2050? Today, close to, by the way, this was 2 years ago, that has surpassed now 1 billion people worldwide need a pair of glasses, cannot afford. Can you imagine? Cannot afford simple pair of glasses. I'm going to tell you some statistics. All of us, almost all of us are wearing glasses. I wear glasses at Costco. If I include this insurance, I pay somewhere between $400 to $600. There are two companies in the world, Luxottica and SLR. They own 85% of market share. They own everything. When you go to LensCrafter, guess who owns it? Insurance, who owns it? Glasses, frames, lenses, everything owned by a company, and they control the market. I'll tell you two more facts. They own 40 top brands: Gucci, Ray-Ban, Dolce & Gabbana, Oakley. You know what the markup on those? 100x. Ray-Ban, for which you pay $300, the Ray-Ban's cost of making is less than $2. Normal glasses, myopic glasses, their markups are 20 and 30x. And if you think I'm lying, just Wikipedia, Luxottica, and all the figures are there. So I'm a capitalist. I have no issues about making money. But there is a difference between making filthy money and reasonable profits. This is knowing 1 billion people cannot see. How can you sit there and say, I'm going to, make oodles of money? Well, it's a humanitarian. Are you even a human to think about it? That's kind of a thing. And the same thing happened, you probably know, 1981, when we have HIV. A lot of these people were spending HIV tablets for $2,000, while Africa was saying 100,000 people are dying, and you are worrying about recovering R&D costs. Humans are dying. So it's also a morality issue. Just wanted to give you, I come from a city called Pune. Around that, the district is called Pune. Just within that small district, there are about 19 districts in my state, and there are 23 states. So 23 states to one state to about 17 or 18 districts. And within that district, 180 to 193,000 children have uncorrected refractive error. Girls, you can look at 71,000 girls have ERE and will not receive glasses. And this is gender inequality. And I'm sorry to say that I'm from that culture. I'm originally from that country, even if now I'm a US citizen. Think about that's how it is. It's as a fact. If you look at, girls are neglected 3 times more than boys. And 67,000 children cannot afford a pair of glasses. So that's my target. Whenever I'm writing a part of the global grant, one of the things that I'm saying, 193,000 children is what I want to screen over the next 3 years. So I'm also proposing this as a medical prevention, or whatever the category is. That's where I'm saying this is not a one-time deal and I'm done. Because why is not one-time done? Kids are supposed to be tested every 6 months. So it's not like give them glasses and you are done. It's every 6 months. And because your head size changes, and your prescription changes. And somewhere around 16, 17, 18, your head size matures, you become an adult, then once a year is fine, right? So it's not like give glasses and run away. That's what Seva Foundation, that's what Sight Savers, that's what Orbis, all these NGOs go there, they go into a town, provide 5,000 glasses, and they're never to be seen. The way I want to be different is be there with that child from 0 to 16 until they can take care of themselves. So it's not a 6 month, it's not a year, it's a lifelong journey is what I'm looking at. The method is pretty simple. I call it SPEM, meaning screen the child, provide them glasses, educate. I think education is extremely important. You'll be surprised. I have a friend here, both husband and wife are doctors. They're Portland. For a year and a half, they didn't know their child needed glasses. And they are both doctors. If that is the case with doctors, think about people who might be cleaning your bathrooms in a hotel. So you have to have a way to check every single child. If you have misgivings about, I'll tell you, whenever I go to India, I go visit hospitals. I spend 2 to 3 weeks on the road. I visit vision centers. I go into vision camps. I talk to parents. I talk to teachers. I talk to villagers. I talk to headmasters. And I try to ask them, what's your pain? What is preventing you from wearing, your child from wearing glasses? One, the cost of glasses. I'll give you a simple example, and I'll tell you what this is all about. I asked a girl, she was in the 9th grade, she had -2, -2.5. I said, why are you not wearing glasses? She told me because my girlfriends tell me that I don't look pretty. I said, who cares?
Yeah.
Getting educated is your #1 priority. Another girl said, my mother is not letting me wear. So why? My mother thinks that if I had glasses, I may not get married. Now, here in US, might thinking, duh.
Yeah.
No, but that's what social, cultural, everything is. So you have to break through the barrier, means you have to educate, make them aware day in and day out. And the last thing is really the place where you have to do it not only once, you have to do it again and again. So this is a vicious cycle that you have to somehow break and make it happen. And that requires you being there, us being there, not for 1 year with one grant of 5,000, 10,000. It has to be a lifelong journey. And my simple thing is, you educate a child, they become productive citizens. And you enlighten girls, they become productive citizens, right? It's as simple as that. It's a gender equality issue. So yeah.
Is the type of screening the one where you read the letters?
That's just one piece. It's called testing for visual acuity. There are about 20 tests that you do.
Are they mostly pretty inexpensive ones?
They're mostly they're very inexpensive.
Okay.
The equipment that you use requires money.
Yeah.
But then that equipment can be used for 12, 15 years. There is another thing called cycloplegic testing. When you have to put drops, then you have to take parental permission. So until then, you can check children as long as you're not putting something in them. So I boiled the ocean. By the way, I have 15 years. If anybody wants to look at my analysis, I'm more than happy to share. It's probably terabytes of information, of research. Because the way I am, I look at every single thing. Where does the raw material from making glasses and lenses come from? How are they manufactured? How are they transferred? What is the supply chain tool guide? So I'm not just providing glasses. I'm looking at every single thing and saying, how can I optimize it so that I can reduce the cost and give the glasses when they're needed, right? So I boiled the ocean. It came down to 4 key legs of the stool. And I'll go quickly one slide. And again, behind that, every slide, there is megabytes of data. So the first one is availability of cost-effective glasses. How do you make them? As I mentioned, the glasses, I'm not talking about titanium, rhodium kind of glass. Okay? Basic, high quality, high reliability glasses so that child can see. It's as simple as that. The second one is, how do you look at the supply chain to make sure the glasses are There are no in-betweeners who are taking the money. The third one is, in order to check people, you need optometrists. So is there enough supply of optometrists? And the last one is about social, cultural, psychological issues. The awareness part is the compliance part is, even if a child is given glasses, how do you make sure that the child is actually wearing them? Right? So the way my thinking is different is I'm looking at womb to tomb, start to end, soup to nuts, whatever you want to call it, approach to make sure that everything is so tightly run so that it is the most efficient way of delivering. So I'll give you just quick overviews. A dollar is about 94 rupees. So let's say I assume 100 rupees per dollar. So the cost of making glasses, and this is a sensitivity analysis, so there is a low and high end. It's about $2.30 to $3 to make complete glasses. And how much you are paying? $300. And the cost, so even if I sell it, I mean, a company sells it for 500 to 1,000, you can still make 54 to 70% gross margin. So it's not that complicated. The other thing that the first part is glasses in 15 minutes. So I'll tell you what was happening. We were going in, writing prescription and saying, hey, take the prescription, go to a vision center and get your glasses. Guess how many were actually going? 3 to 5% people, parents, were actually going and getting glasses. So I said, parents, why? This is the prescription. I'll give you a discount voucher. Why? The two things came up. The price is too high. And the second thing, and this is the type of thing, unless you are there, there is no way to know. They said, we are all on daily wages. So if we have to take a child to a vision center, that means my half day is gone and I don't get paid for that half day. So what do you eat that half day? So the idea came is, no, nothing doing. I'll provide you glasses right there and then, so you don't have to travel anywhere. Right? So these are the minute things that you realize. So that's number one. Number two, this is what the supply chain looks like. There are wholesalers, license holders, logistic providers, distributors, retails, before you go to consumer. I said, pardon my word. I said, screw it. I'm just going to go from producer to consumer in one step. Eliminating all the costs that are involved. Now, the next question might be, well, glasses is not like you go to Amazon and say, I want to buy 6 Turkish towel, blue color, medium size. Because every glass, every frame is different. How is the frame defined? Frame defined by 3 factors: temple length, bridge width between the nose, and the distance here to here, right? So every boy and girl is different. Girls like pink, boys like whatever, blue. So that's the difference. The shape, oval, round, square. And then the diopters, right? You might have spherical, cylindrical, axis. So many variations. How do you take care of that and still go from producer to consumer in one step? So I'll just tell you one small thing. I won't spend much time. I also have a startup. And what I do in that startup, it's registered in Oregon. I look at the last 5 to 10 years of historical data. So I have 2 hospitals giving me data that is, there are probably 250,000 records. So now, by whether it is a boy or a girl, what is their age, what grade they are in, what are their prescriptions, and I can run statistics. And I went to University of Portland, worked with a professor, and I basically said, hey, give this problem to undergraduates and graduates and let them develop some insights. Those insights allow me to predict if I'm going to go to a school with 500 children, and you already know what their ages are, how many boys, how many girls, I can predict ahead of time what they're going to require. And I pre-order the supply. So when an optometrist goes into a school, they already have the requisite supply of frames. I'll also give you how scary the world is. I hope it's not a run. You need optometrists, right? So look at post 2, that's across India. Look at the population. Normally you require 1 optometrist per 10,000 people. But you look at estimated need for optometrists is 48,000 in urban. The current supply is 30,000. You look at rural area, 88,000. Current supply is 12,000. So, and if you look at the gap is 18,000 and 76,000, and the rural is 3 times bigger. Just one state where I come from, when I was born, 130 million people, you need 13,000 optometrists current supply is 1,200. So you have a backlog of 11,000. So it's not just giving glasses. Now I have yet more. The way it happened to me is you start one question and it opens up 10 questions. And you solve each one of them, each one starts creating 10 more problems. So it's like a cascade effect. So I'm going to do something about it if you want to know. But I started looking at how do I solve this problem? And then I started looking at healthcare models, and I found a model. It's called doula model, or midwives, right? These midwives or doulas are not MDs, but they know how to deliver a child. And they know good enough about medicines. They know everything. So if a child is having, they know how to deliver a baby. So what I'm trying to do is I'm creating another cadre, if you want to called refractionist. And all they know is how to find a number, how to find prescriptions. So I have gone ahead. One thing that I learned at Intel that Mary will agree with me, if you come up with a problem, you have to come up with a solution to it. So I said, I'm going to design a course. I went ahead and designed a course for a refractionist. It's a four-month in class, followed by 8 months of actual training. After 12 months, they will know how to refract. They may not know all other problems in life. The last one is, I won't go into the details because I think I already mentioned all kinds of problems. So I said, how do I educate people? So I asked the headmasters, and they said, all of us have parent WhatsApp groups. I said, great. Now I have a captive audience through WhatsApp. So what I did was, I said, nowadays nobody wants to read. That everybody is into reels, watching videos. I said, okay, what I'm going to do is design no more than 2.5 to 3 minute videos, what I call single function videos. And they're as simple as, how do you take care of your glasses? How do you keep them clean? At night before you go to sleep, what eye care you should take? Use water to clean all your dirt that's in your eyes. So I already designed 52, I have video scripts. I made 52 video scripts in English, in the national language of Hindi, and the local language of Marathi. So I have 150 scripts ready to be converted into videos. And these are single function videos. And I made those videos into 3 areas. Eye problems. And number 2, since I'm dealing with children, I wanted to give them some fun-loving scientific factoids. Like, hey, do you know your retina has 150 million rods and cones? Wow. Do you know babies cannot see color when they're born? Wow. Do you know there is a fly in Sweden when it's 6 months dark, that the fly can navigate just with few photons? Do you know why eyes of a hawk and an eagle are different? Where they're flying at 1,200 feet, they can still see a mouse. And as the mouse is running, they can change their trajectory. What is special about eye? That's an education to get them interested. And the third focus that I'm doing is purely saying eye girls are important in a society. That you have to treat them equally, you have to educate them equally. They're half the number of pillars of any nation. So that's the work that's happening. This is some calculation that I had done, what I need in terms of, this is a quick snapshot of my financial model. I have a pretty extensive financial model that probably have 35 to 40 folders in that Excel spreadsheet. It's an extensive model that I have developed. I won't go through the details, more than happy to share with this. This is not final, but this is what I'm doing in terms where the money come from. So I'm going to stop here and give you, I'm here to answer your questions, but that's kind of the mission I'm on.
What's your social media handles? Are you on Instagram and stuff? Like we can actually pull it up?
I have created that, but there is not much material.
Okay.
What I'm trying to do is also set up a local NGO there. For local NGO, I have to do some legal stuff.
Okay.
Paperwork that I have to submit to the government. I'm also trying to mine many of you may not know, but in India, every company that is over 50, I could be wrong on the number, 50 million rupees of revenue, by law, they have to spend, I think 5% of their money, what is called corporate social responsibility. It's mandated by the government for every company above a certain revenue to spend, they have to spend money. And the company decides whether to spend on heart or brain research or cancer or whatever. So we're trying to work with local foundations. I'm looking at high net worth individuals. That's what I'm doing there. Another point I wanted to make is the local group there is called 3131, Rotary Club. The district governor there, I've been talking to him for 9 months, even though I was not a Rotary member, I was still talking to him. He's solidly behind it. We're trying to find a host club to take this on. And what I'm doing here, talking to a bunch of clubs, he's doing the same thing. He just got inducted on July 1st. So he's meeting with all the clubs there. Although I'm not a president, I'm kind of doing that for this purpose. I met with Milwaukee, I met with East Portland, I met with Beaverton. You're the fourth one. I'll probably do Pearl District and Vancouver and a bunch of other places. All so that my feeling is, I don't know if you know the Aesop story. I'll tell you a story. A bunch of pigeons were caught under a net. So the head pigeon says, my God, now all of us are going to get killed. Well, the head pigeon says, if we all flutter our wings at the same time, we can all fly away with the net. So individually, you're stuck under a net. But if everybody flutters their wings, then you can fly away with the problem. And that's why I'm here, is to ask, I don't care how much money, I want you to be part of the team, feel like this is a worthwhile thing to do, and help support in any way which you can. Yes, sir.
Two things. One, I went through I'm just sitting here doing the math. I think about 13 years ago, I went through the same thing that you did. Look at it tax revenue. Although I had to look down that bubble to get it in the right place, for about 10 days.
Yeah.
Not fun, but, with a great result, just like you. There's, I can tell I had 100% recovery, but it took a little while, nevertheless. But the other thing is probably more important. I have a great grandson who lives here. He's 5. And his name is Mateo. He wears glasses.
Yeah.
And it just, you make me think, that little guy, and bless his parents and his teachers. I'm not really sure how they figured it out, but this little guy needs glasses, but he's had glasses since he was probably 4.
Good for him.
I don't know, he plays t-ball, he does everything.
Yeah.
It's just a normal kid, but he wears glasses. And I thought about that, how fortunate for him.
Yeah.
To have been diagnosed and received care at that really young age.
Yeah.
And he's smarter than half, he's
Yeah.
real good at school.
Can you imagine a life where you cannot see mountains? You cannot see stars, you cannot see Milky Way, you cannot see birds, you cannot do anything. All you see is, this is what I see, kind of blurry stuff.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate you sharing the story, because it makes it even more important to think this is such a unique input that we get from 2 eyes, which we take for granted. It's so important that children are screened at the very earliest stage. And maybe we are blessed here in the United States, although without getting into politics, I think our healthcare systems are failing.
Yeah.
But I don't know how far we can be at the forefront, because it pains me as a US citizen that our scientists are displayed, our doctors are displayed. We have using misinformation. But that, I'm just making a side point of saying eyes are important.
Have you guys trained refractionists already? Have people made it through the course?
No.
Okay.
So this is working. I'll tell you why this is. There is some weird feeling. I don't know why. It's psychological. There is a hierarchy. There is eye surgeons and ophthalmologists who think optometrists are a bunch of dads. And optometrists think vision assistants are a bunch of dads. So it's like, and what I'm creating is a category before that. So it's like, guys, don't worry about your egos. We need to get children screened. I don't care how. And don't think about just regulations. We have solved the problem with midwives and doula without them having MDs.
Is the idea that the refractionists will be like traveling all around the country, school to school, or they live in whatever the community is?
Live in.
And then
It's a
every 6
distributed.
months.
They don't travel more than 20-25 kilometers within their range. And you just below there, I don't know if I showed you. Basically, one was about train the trainer answer. Yeah, it's not there.
I don't think, yeah.
Yeah, but I for time's sake, I removed. But there is a train to the trainer concept. So we will create trains. We'll create trainers who will teach more people and more people. And by the sorry, one more question. That I mentioned this psychological hierarchy. That means optometrists are going to fight tooth and nail. Ophthalmologists are going to fight tooth and nail. And then I had to work with politicians to make sure that this goes in. So there are all kinds of barriers in between. I'll give you one small example. I'm going to tell a story and then I'll come to you. When I told this, I have a friend in Greece and Italy. There are two friends, and she owns a grape farm, wine location. And she told me, Sandy, if you ever are successful in this, never ever come to my country. And I said, why? She said, I have my own winery, and at night it is encroached by people who are collecting mushrooms. These are what are those called? They're prize mushrooms. They're special things.
Yeah.
They're like 500 euros per pound. And she said, even they're encroaching in my property, I cannot do anything about them. Because if I show any resistance whatsoever, she said, my life will be at stake. She said, you are now taking somebody, they are making oodles of money, and you are telling me that you can make glasses for $2.50 when they can sell for $250, $300. There will be a bounty on your head. So, I mean, there is a reality. You're undercutting somebody's lavish lifestyle. There are going to be consequences. Sorry, you had a question.
I was wondering, I don't know much about Lions Club, but I've heard that there were the eyeglasses. Yes.
Yes.
So I'm gonna be looking for.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Partnership there.
Yeah.
It's my plan on pursuing. Right now, to be honest with you, my plate is so full. I literally work 7 days a week, 8 a.m. till 11 p.m. This is what I do. Because early in the morning, it's India's evening. And my evening is the morning. So my mornings and evenings are, I'm talking to Rotary people, I'm talking to clubs, I'm talking to ophthalmologists, I'm talking to politicians, I'm talking all kinds of people.
Is it, maybe you don't know yet, because you've only been in another 4 weeks, but is the Beaver Creek Club planning on doing any kind of district grant?
Yes, that's what we're applying. I don't know if you guys know a guy named Tom Roth. He's a pretty senior guy. He's my mentor there. He is very interested. Interesting thing happened. I presented to Milwaukee 2 weeks ago, and the president came and said they had, happy dollars, and it was his birthday, and they collected I think $190 that day. He came back and said, hey, here is my $190, and I'm going to give you remnants from the previous year, $1,000. So you have a head start with $1,190. And we already transferred that to Beaver.
Is that Tom Reed?
Tom Reed is guy, of course, I know, who introduced me, I think, to you guys. But Tom Roth, there are probably 5 Toms there. Tom Freitag is the president. Tom Roth works with what's the lady's name in Salem? She handles all the. My mind just went blank. She handles global grant and stuff. Okay. So even if I got inducted only a week ago, I've been talking to Rotary for the last 6 months, unofficially. Finally, somebody said, you're doing all the work, you need to step in here. I said, okay, no problem. It wasn't that I didn't want to. It's just that the plate was too full.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I have a question, because I'm not sure how this works, but if Beaverton's going for a district grant. Because they're gonna contribute, does that mean we couldn't go for a district grant as well? As a separate club? Does anybody know?
I think we've partnered on district grants before.
Bill's not here.
Yeah.
Usually Bill answers.
Yeah,
this.
but I would say we would partner with.
We would
can
partner with
partner.
them
Yes.
to
And it-
contribute, like, let's say we did 2,500 and they did 2,500.
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
we would go for
exactly.
the grant.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Okay.
Yeah,
Interesting.
that's usually how it works, right? You used to work on grants, a lot of stuff. Yeah,
It'd be a lot more efficient, got the district involved, and
Yeah.
they went out to the clubs, you could get.
everybody.
Well,
And
and
a
they do
couple
the district
of-
grant, is it like every quarter? How does, do you know how
They
that
do
works?
it in every year, it starts again,
Once a year.
once the money's gone.
Yeah.
Do you know how much?
It's whatever our district is granted or,
And
Allowed
it
for-
varies, I
Okay,
don't know what it is.
yeah.
okay,
And I have already presented to Renee,
okay, yeah.
5,100, the new incoming
Mhm.
lady. I spent some time, she likes also what I'm doing. The other Renee is also in Salem. I'm trying to. I'm just getting
Renee's
used to
okay.
names.
Fauno or something?
No, that's the
That's
district
our,
governor.
oh,
Renee Browse, former governor.
The lady that Renee that I'm talking about handles all kinds of grants.
Do you know what Beaverton has committed to?
I think we are in the process. Yesterday we had first ISC meeting. There were 4 projects on the docket. Mine was one.
Okay.
The other ones were related to Gaza, other one was related to something else. Ghana project, there was a Ghana women's project, or 4 projects. More than happy to share which projects are on the
When
docket.
does Beaverton meet?
Huh?
When does Beaverton meet?
Wednesday at 12 to 1,
12 to 1. And is it at there was a pub that. y'all were
Golden
meeting.
Valley. It's on Bethany and Cornell.
Okay. Do you know where that is? Yeah, because a couple of us have talked about going to their meeting.
Please.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, thank you